Hey, would you like to hear about some movies from the motherland? Well, you're in good luck because today I'm going to talk about Carnival Night, The Stronghold, and Night Watch. Also, all three of these movies were personally recommended to me by this amazing cosplayer. I asked her for some movie recommendations from her homeland, so she gave me some movies, some Soviet/Ukrainian/Russian movies. You should 1000% go check her out. She is just a kind-hearted, delightful, incredibly kind person who does amazing cosplay stuff and amazing art in general, and she's just the best person. You should 1000% go check her stuff out because you can't not. She's just great. First up is Carnival Night. This is a 1956 Soviet movie, and the basic premise is there's kind of this event hall thing putting on a variety show for New Year's. It's a New Year's party. And there is this grumpy old man who's in charge of the whole thing, and he wants to make everything really serious, guys. We gotta be so serious, okay? And he wants to put on lots of lectures and stuff like that and just make it so boring. But there's a bunch of youths who are kind of actually organizing everything, and they're like, no, old man, we're gonna have fun tonight. So they basically just spend the entire movie like doing silly hijinks to make sure that everyone there actually has a good fun time. And it is such a blast. I enjoyed this movie so dang much. It was great. It did take me like a little bit to get into it just because I didn't exactly get what was going on right away. But once I figured it out, I was like, yep, this is fun. This is so much fun. My favorite part of the movie was definitely the section where the grumpy old man was going around criticizing all of the acts and trying to like make them more serious. That whole part was just hilarious. But then my favorite part within that sequence was when he got to the clowns. He was just trying to logic the funny out of their bit, and their reaction to it was just terrific. And he just like, it's just so good. It's just so much fun. And then like the movie overall is just a blast. It's kind of a musical because like there's lots of musical numbers. You see the majority of the variety show. All of them were really impressive and fun to watch. So yeah, I definitely recommend this movie. It is such a good fun time, and it's so short too. It's easy to just knock out, and it's gonna make you feel good if you watch this one. Next up is The Stronghold. This is a 2017 Ukrainian movie. And the basic premise is it's kind of a lot like a kid in King Arthur's court. Basically, a modern day kid is somehow magically transported back in time to legendary times, but instead of Arthurian England, it's old-timey Ukraine. And it's pretty dang good. There's a lot of stuff about this movie that I really liked. I loved all the fantasy in the movie. I loved the CGI. It was really good, especially for a non-Hollywood movie. It was also just a really fun and funny movie. I was laughing so much. And then like that leads into my favorite character, which is this knight called the Fairy Tale Knight. He is so adorable and so charming and so funny. Like the first time we meet him, he's practicing giving flowers to this girl that he really likes, and it's just, that alone is really hilarious. But then the joke pays off later when he actually like goes to give the girl flowers. Something happens, I'm not gonna say what, but it was great. My like minor complaint is I wish he would have been in more of the movie because he was a blast. He was so good. Another thing I also really liked about the movie was just the action. The action was really solid, though that does lead into what I didn't like about the movie, or more so my big complaint about the movie, and that is the bad guys weren't scary enough. Like, yeah, it's a kid's movie, but like the bad guys need to win sometimes. Like in Star Wars, like the bad guys are scary there. They definitely have the upper hand on more than one occasion. But in here, the good guys just constantly wipe the floor with the bad guys. Like the first action scene with the Fairy Tale Knight, he takes on a ton of bad guys and easily beats all of them. He kind of gets his comeuppance in the end, but not really. He slips away. And he beats all of them pretty easily before that. And then later we see two other knights fight and defeat 18 all by themselves. And it's just like, come on. Like, yeah, these guys are legendary great big heroes, but like, if the bad guys don't win a little, it takes away from the excitement of the movie. Like, yes, we all know the good guys are gonna win in the end, but like, we still need our villains to like have a presence and be intimidating. Even with that though, I still enjoyed this movie a good amount. It was a very good, fun time. I would recommend it if like you're really into fantasy stuff, especially if you want some non-Arthurian fantasy stuff. So yeah, I enjoyed this movie. And lastly is Night Watch. This is a 2004 Russian movie, and the basic premise is it's kind of like Underworld with like a little bit of Requiem for a Dream, and then the aesthetic of Eccleston's run on Doctor Who, and just all that kind of mashed in together. Like the actual story is good versus evil with lots of fantasy stuff in it. I don't know really how to be more specific, but it is an interesting story. This movie is so mid-2000s. It couldn't be more mid-2000s if it tried. It was bonkers. There is definitely a lot of stuff that I liked in this movie. I liked the lore, I liked the aesthetic, I liked the action, and just like the overall look of the movie. It was just, I vibed with that a lot. I don't have like a specific complaint about the movie, but it just kind of lost me like halfway through. I don't think it was because of anything specifically within the movie. I think it was more of a me thing where I just wasn't 100% in the right mood for this movie. I think just on a different day, I would have clicked with this movie so hard and I would have loved it a ton. But just on the day that I watched it, I just wasn't there. So it just didn't work for me that day. That being said, I immediately got the vibe that my brother Justin would love the hell out of this movie. So I went and talked to him today about it. And I was like, okay, you may have heard of this movie, maybe not. I think you're gonna like it. And he was like, oh yeah, I have all of the books and yeah, I own the movie, it's right there. And I'm just like, yeah, of course you would. So even though I didn't vibe with it, there's definitely an audience for it. And also since Justin owns the book, I kind of want to give it a read because I think I'm gonna like that more. I know the movie and book aren't exactly the same, but I think it's gonna be something that I would enjoy. So even though I didn't enjoy this movie this time, I think I will in the future. And I look forward to that. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up we have Carnival Night, sitting at number 42 in the Quite Like section. And then not too far behind is The Stronghold, sitting at number 61 in the Liked section. And then bringing up the rear is Night Watch, sitting at number 87 in the Meh category. And this is out of a total of 111 movies so far this year. And again, special thanks to this awesome cosplayer for all of these recommendations. Again, you definitely need to go check her out. She is such a talented cosplayer and just a talented person overall. She has lots of Star Wars stuff and lots of other nerdy stuff. She's huge into Blade Runner. If you vaguely kind of sort of like me, you're gonna like her way, way more. She is so much cooler than I am. But yeah, that's all I got.